Ingatkan aku pandang kamera, jangan pandang. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Amin. And on behalf of our company, we extend a very warm welcome to all of our wonderful guests. We appreciate you taking time off of your busy schedule to join us for today's webinar titled as Changing Landscape of Industrial Relations in Malaysia. We hope you will earn new knowledge and fresh insights from this, as we have lined up for you to be fruitful and engaging. May I invite everyone to setting according to our respective beliefs. I would like to invite Abdul Alif bin Abdul Ghani to recite the opening prayers for today.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Muhammad Abdul Alif, for the prayers. May God bless our webinar with success. Now, I will hand over the remaining.
Also, good morning. First of all, thank you very much to our beautiful MC right here because giving me the opportunity to mentioned by our MC for our webinar. It's about the changing landscape in the industrial relations for Malaysia. So to focus more about our discussion in this webinar, we have divided our topic into two slots, where the first slot it's about the role of women in the industrial relations, while the second slot it's about the technology in today's industrial relations. But before we start our webinar, it's such a honor for me to introduce our special guest for today that we invite in this webinar. And for me as a Saban, it's very a proud moment for me to exchange knowledge with a lecturer from UiTM Sungai Petani Kedah. So she is expert in politics and also human resource management. She also has a beautiful Meda binti Ismail. Assalamualaikum doctor. Good morning. How are you? Doctor?
Waalaikumsalam. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
Sorry.
clearly.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sure.
Yes.
Mm. So, doctor, for this first slot, we will actually discuss about the role of women in the industrial relations because it's actually a big question for us. We have actually asking many times where is actually the position of women in the industrial relations because it's early to us to hear about women in the industrial relations, and we think you are the suitable person to actually discuss about this matter. So maybe I can give you the floor about this.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I'm here is just for sharing to information related to the subtopic given for me to be discussed for today event. Okay. Wait. Let me share my slide. Okay. Can you see my slide?
Sure,
Okay,
doctor. I can see.
because I just received the tentative from your team, and then while look
That's
up
right,
to
doctor.
the information given is quite a topic is quite a generals for me. Okay, which is the discussing on the roles of women in the top management positions and what actually they impact on the So I divided my sessions here. I simplified the discussions into several numbers of part, which is overall, we discuss who is the leaders. Okay, you have to understood who is actually the leaders, and then what kind of the roles of the woman leader, and what actually the woman leader and its impact towards the organization.
Yeah, we can see it clearly, doctor.
Okay.
Yes, you can say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so can I know participants' background? This is for the student. Which student? It is for diploma or degree students.
Yes, doctor. It's for diploma students.
Oh, this is a diploma students. Okay,
Uh,
never mind. Okay, so before we go to the women uh, leadership, so I need you to understood lah who actually the leaders. Okay, while we're discussing on the leaders, there are several numbers of author that we can cite. Okay, so okay, before we go to the leaders, this is actually from the Hersey and Blanchard. If you go to this kind of the definition, they discuss things on the leadership itself. Okay, so while you talk about the leadership, it's about the we consider as a behavior, how we attempt the behavior towards the others group or individual. So that is we consider a leadership, meaning that we are referring to the character, the attribute among the leaders that can uh, influence the organizations to make it more effective, either from the financials, either from the trust, either from the what we call the some of the ability to invest about the people's and some of that is about the empathy. Okay, so that is about 96. What we mentioned on the leadership is about notes of the management in coping with the complexity. Leadership is about the coping with the change. Okay, while we mentions they have to manage the peoples, okay, to do the right things, and leader is the people that we consider members that they lead. Okay, so with that of the definition, we believe that we need some of the competency that should be fulfilled by this kind of the leader. Okay, so what actually the skills or maybe the competency that we need? First is about the diagnose. Okay, diagnosing maybe things, maybe thing, and part of it is the communication, the communicating lah. Okay, so when you mention on the diagnosing, okay, what actually the diagnose? Okay, this is we considered. Sorry. Situations. Okay, so this is we consider as a diagnose. Okay, meaning that as a leader, they have to capture, they have to look up the whole organization. For examples, I believe if we take a simple analogy, we have a best in class. So I believe there is a leaders, woman leaders in your position, okay, in your union or maybe the association itself. So we hope this kind of the leader they're able to come out with the process of diagnosing as a whole to be our team members for understood in terms of the current situations and further situations. For examples, if let's say currently our leader they just look up into the locals concern, so maybe for the futures situations we have to concern on the internally situation, maybe internationally relationship goals. Okay, so this is a process of diagnosis to make it a process of their behavior skills, where's the required ability to adapt with one behavior, and others resources that help to close the performance gap. Okay, while we mentioned on the performance gap, okay, previous performance okay, we can adapt and adopt with the current conditions of our organization. So if you refer to the analogy that we can look up to, like for example, currently in our woman leader university. Okay, YTA, she's the first one that become leaders. Okay, so we can see how actually their behavior, okay, in close the performance gap, okay, previous performance of the UITM. So we can see now their main desire or main we consider aspirations to be a renowned university in 2025, can. So what actually the requirement, because we to make sure that your item is visible. It's not only in a locals situation. So that's why here we can see the behavior of how we can adapt and adopt. There's a lot of the we consider engagement has been made by our NC and their team member. We consider the T-rank, the directors itself, okay, to make sure the performance of UITM is still at a par level, similar with the rest of the university at the uh, in the nation's punya conditions. Okay, and part of the leader competency is about the communications. Okay, so either you like it or not, you have to make sure that you're able to create a good communications with your staff. Okay, so this is actually required for the leader skills. We can see for examples like our NC, okay, our uh, Naib Chancellor, you can see there is a lot of the platform has been implementing or maybe has been introduced. One of that is we can see there is a coffee talk of Rosalie, for examples. We have coffee times that times, for examples. That is one of the way they communicate. When there is our members of showing requirements given. Okay. Okay, another parts, okay, from the one and Bernice in 1984, they identified there is a potency of leaders. Okay, it is shared by the 90s leaders. All the leaders agree, meanings that to be a good leaders, meanings that to be a good leaders, there are certain things that you have to take into the consideration. First thing first is about the management of the attention. Okay, meaning that first of all we have to make sure there is a good clearly objective or directions to the others. Okay, so like our NC, we can we take examples UITM. Okay, there is a clear objective and directions given to those students who actually the needs and aspirations of the university. We would like to be a renowned university. Renowned in all there's several number of activities such as CSR, corporate social responsibility, to the we consider to the conferences. So even though we can see there is a lot of the CSR, international CSR through the Sulam program should be implemented by each PTG by each campuses. So this is we consider the vision, the visionary of our NC to make sure the UITM is visible. It's not only in the map of the world, but also is the world class itself. So meaning that we have to make sure that we are stand together with the others university. Okay, especially in the ASEAN university at the Singapore level. So at least we can at the par level, similar with them. So engagement others university such as University of Erlangga, macam then we have also Ichiba University that is a part of the engagement management because we understood the the objective given by our management into the strategic plan, or maybe we consider into the program, into the activities. Okay, so this is actually the first competency that we have to be a good leader. You have to understood the whole picture of your organization. Okay, so the directive, because you are the head of this management, so you have to bring them to what kind of the direction blur, and so this is actually we consider competency have among the I believe the NC figure itself can give us a clear picture on the objective and direction, because we can see the highest levels. Okay, either the student itself, either the lecturer itself. So they have a clear objective of. Okay, another competency we can see okay, what do you mean by the awareness? Also, that how they being a leaders, okay, how you're aware with conditions of your okay. So this is actually is very important. Why? Because we need you to understood. Okay, if you're not aware with the current conditions, very cooperation. Okay, so being and aware of your team member, okay, the needs of your team member, it will helping you to engage to operation more wide and more huge. Okay, so this is actually is very important. So meaning that is not achievable, but as a being a leader, you have to make sure there is a balance with the individual needs. Okay, so this is we consider to what we call to reduce the conflict burning up among our staff or either students. Kalau we are looking to the context of university itself, in often complex and dilemma uh, occur. Okay, so our team member, they can depend on us. So this is actually is very important. Why? We believe that management of trust also means that if let's say there is any conflict happen in our organization, so what we have to do, so as a leader, you have to be more creative in terms of what? Creative in terms of the planning. So you have to make sure that planning agency to cater with the conflict or maybe any kind of the difficulties, okay, happen in your organization. So this is how we can create a trust among of your subordinate. Okay. Part of that, management of self. So meaning that this is we consider is your inner beauty as a leader, your competency. Okay, you have to understood what actually your strength and your weakness in dealings with the others of your coworkers. This competency actually is very important among the leaders while they are trying to lead one of the organization. Okay. So this is actually another characteristic that we can see among of the leaders. So it can be applied either you are woman, either you are male, leadership. So one of the characteristic is about the decentralization. So meaning is that why we discuss on decentralization is this very huge definition. Okay, what do you mean is reflecting to either you like it or not, you have to decentralize a part of your power to your subordinate. So that's why if you look up to the diagram of management, we have CEO, we have subordinate manager, middle line manager, middle line manager. As a leader, partials of the task, yes, is in your responsibility, but partials of the responsibility or maybe the power should be given to your middle line manager. So this is we call as a decentralization. So this is actually the ideas of to reduce total number of red tape, to reduce total number of bureaucracy that can be implemented in our organization. We will reduce this kind of the bureaucratic, the red tape, because we need the fast and furious decision. So need by your uh, middle line manager. Okay. And then a part of that here, okay, the characteristic that's suggested by Stewart, they mentions in terms of the evaluations of the
Sorry for
rules for the head of office as a consultant and
Regine.
also as a sales rather than direct control. Okay, so here uh, we consider meanings that yes, such as like our leaders, our rector is a woman, Prof. Dr. Roshima. So we can see here, okay, there is a some of the decentralizations has been made. Okay, okay, for your information, in UITM, we have a think tank. There is a 5 person. This is actually from the previous rectors, okay, and direct rectors. So what actually the responsibility of this think tank is become a consultant. They will be our rector. Okay, they will advise the rector what actually the best the process of their administration. So even though with the think tank itself, having the think tank is helping she to manage and administer the organization itself. Okay. And then okay, I say what we have to do. in terms of the positive characteristic that encourage the entrepreneur spirit and risk taker. Okay, because we can see the organization is not all the people's become a risk taker. It's not all the people willing to participate in any kind of the organization's initiative. So you have to be able to encourage your team to make sure they are willing to join any kind of the initiative that related to the entrepreneur, and also able to be a risk taker in any kind of the decisions. Okay, and they should able to breaking down of inter functions barriers, if any. Okay, part of that. Okay, as leadership, people focus. That is the most beautiful characteristic that should be instilled among the leader. Okay, you be leader. You you try to please everybody. No. Okay, you have to be firm, and then you have to be able to identify which one is the biggest issue, the common issue that facing by our society, and then which one is we consider is a prime issue. Okay, so you have to be able to differentiate this kind of the issue to make sure you are really focus on your team as a whole. Able to differentiate between the personals, maybe the individual interest, and also society interest itself. So our worry is maybe your policies, maybe your uh, what they call the decisions can be biased. Okay, because you just focusing on certain matters that reflecting a certain individual rather than issues that reflecting to the whole nations of your organization. Okay, so this is actually why you have to focus, you have to able to separate it in terms of the individuals issue and also the society issues itself. Okay, in terms of customer focus. Okay, so this is we consider as your main concern. Okay, if we look up to the organizations such as university, there is a lot of the customer. Okay, kita boleh pecahkan into several number of customer. There is a lot of the customers. The students is our customer, the lecturer is our customer, the administrative is our customer, the parents, the society behind the university is with this kind of the customer. So you have that if you look up to the have the client chatted. Basically, they're very important to having. So if you go to any kind of the organization, the client chatted is the most information should give to make the customer wants what is service properly this organization, and then students and avoid you able to control everything, but most often this goes to back to your job description, goes back to your position every single of the position. We believe our managers or manager will reporting everything to us directly. You to the that will as as an okay our subordinate. So this is actually because uh mentions on the leadership effective to be a good leaders. Okay, so this is actually the ideas that they are try to look up. First, you have to make sure good in terms of the leader and member relationship, and then you have to make sure that you good in terms of the task structure, productive, and then in terms of the we consider the we can that you have a good you have strong leaders kalau if you refer in this of the uh, okay, so to be the people leaders they consider as a bad here, okay, but if you can make it both, meanings that you have with your team at the same time you're being firm us. So this is we consider is a good leadership. You are being effectiveness leaders. Okay, so you have a proper structures in terms of tasks, meaning that if you share and you able to manage to divide uh, uh, the task fair and square among your peoples, and then at the same time with them either informal condition or in and formal condition. This is considers context of the leadership. Okay, the first is leader need to have 5 set of. The first thing is about the set value.
Madam, can you hear me clearly?
Boleh dengar,
I hear
tidak
you
you?
clearly also.
Okay, okay, no problem.
So first of all, I'm on behalf of my team want to apologize for the little interruptions because of the inconvenience at UITM Sabah. It's a bit slow right now as the weather is not really good,
Okay,
and we are apologize. And
okay,
I'm also on behalf of my team.
okay, no problem. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to wait before.
Sure.
Okay, okay, no problem.
So and also for all of the participants and all of the attendees in this Microsoft, we want to apologize on behalf of our team because we couldn't connect with you right now. And for all of you that's loyal with us all through the life, especially in the YouTube life. Miss, can you still hear us?
Yes.
Sure. If everything is clear right now, maybe we can continue where we have been stopped just now.
Okay. So
Mhm.
wait, okay. So this is actually the part that I missed previously. Okay. Wait.
All right, doctor.
Wait. Okay. It's because of the line.
Yes.
Side. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, doctor. I can still hear you.
Yes. Okay. You. The ideal is that what actually leaders needs to have their organization. Like such if I take the examples of your ITM itself, okay, we can see that value has been made by our management, okay, which is they set on the needs of having a good we consider protecting the Putra, protecting the Malay itself, focusing on the Bumi Putra, and also focusing on the Malay students because we believe we can change in terms of their poverty condition. Because I believe, such as like your ITM, why they set the values helping the Bumiputra and Malay is due to the our historical part, which is we considered that relate to the British provincials previously, why they're having rules and divide. Okay, they put in the Malay at the rural at the uh, village, and then a rural area, and also the India at the estate, and Chinese at the we consider at the urban area. So this is actually one of the reason why UITM itself they just focusing on Bumiputra and Malay. Uh, in terms of the enrollment. They try to helping the Malay students. They try to helping the Bumiputra. That is actually the value that has been set by our organizations, okay, or by our management. Why? Because we consider by setting this kind of the value, we will helping this uh, Malay and Bumiputra to exit from their poverty line. Okay, we believe I think every single of you know what actually the dasar ekonomi baru.
Yeah.
You can read up how the Bumiputra is under poverty line. We consider as a miskin tegar. So this value that set by our management for the UITM itself actually very good values. Okay, because we helping these two main we consider as criticals that relate to the poverty. Why we are talking about the poverty? Because while you look up to the statistic, this group is under poverty line yang kita consider as a miskidar. So while we're setting this value, helping Bumiputra and Malay, I think very good. Okay, okay. Apart of that, we can see here. Okay, in terms of support problem solving and risk. Okay, so as a leader, what they have to do is they have to make sure that they're able to resolve the problem, reduce the risk for their team member. Okay, so that I mentioned to you previously, as the leaders, you have to make sure that you have a plan C. It's only not only one plan. Okay, because to be a good leaders, effective leaders, you have to be think more creative. You have to be able to think 200% compared to your students, maybe your staff. Okay, so a part of that, some of the action that leaders needs is about this design the system to support action. Okay, for examples, we can see during the previous prime minister, during wife number one lady in Malaysia, that one previously Datin Sri Rosmah. There is some of the support of action made by him, which is by build up permata. Kan kalau you perasan we build up she build up the ideas of permata, which is this is considered as a kindergarten that has been set up nearby office of as a positive ways. Okay, that is show that the management, the government that time is very supportive that related to the this kind of the issue that facing by the workers to check is as a being a leader, but providing some sort of the counselor. Okay, with this kind of the counselor, it's not only to assist the students. If we go to the UITM overview, but also for the co-workers. Okay, because why? Some of the co-workers, they will tend to be depressed, maybe they're burnt out, they're stressed. So what kind of the support action in your system can give to your staff? Okay, for example, maybe there's a lot of people they would like to further this study, but however there is a problem in terms of the financial. So what actually government can be done is about by providing some of the support action that related to the financial. For example, we have hadiah latihan persekutuan that is we consider as a scholarship is given to the all to the whole members of the public servant if they're willing to further their study. So that is a part of the support action that we can consider. Okay, that leader have, and then we have to focus on the individual. Okay, so meaning that focus on your management as a whole. Okay, so while you mentioned on the action focus on management, so this is how we can see there is a sums of the rules of thumb that we have to implement in our organization, such as uh, the punch in, punch out, what actually the time fulfilled by each of the people. For example, such as like us in your ITM, we have to fulfill all the management's requirement. For example, the formal attire, the working time hours that we have to follow. So this is actually has been set up by our leader. What actually the trend of working hours that they prefer that should be implemented for the university like your ITM. So we have said properly, you have to make sure fulfill 49 hours in a 1 week. So fulfill 49 hours in a 1 week to make sure this is your responsibility as a lecturers, for example. That is we consider how they can not manageable, and part of that develop skills in people. So as a leader you have to make sure you're able to give uh, there is a sum of platform that's set by your team. Okay, platform for what? For example, platform for training and development. This is how we can develop our people skills. So such as like UITM, there is a sums of the money that has been allocated for the training purposes. Okay, you have to remember, guys, it's not all management they will provide for the training. Why? Okay, that is a question mark. Okay, why? Because while we provide sums of the money for the training to develop skills among the people, the issue here, either these people that has been trained very well by your, either they are loyal and remain in your organization or not. Some people, after they develop their skills, they tend to be a nomad co-workers. Faham tak? Meaning that they will transfer to the others organization, they will transfer to the others sector, for example. Why? Because they try to create a lot of the experience. Because when they transfer from A organization to B organization, it will impact the effect will goes to their ROI, the salary. The salary will be increased. So this is actually the theory that we can apply, that we look up to the that related to the human resource theory. Okay, so so that's why some company, if a smaller company, there is no what we call timetables for the training. But if you go to the biggest companies such as UITM, Petronas, Shell, so this company they will set they call as a takwim, okay, takwim latihan for the whole year. So there is a list of the training. So they will have one of the unit who handle this kind of the training to make sure this kind of the people they can develop their skills for the 1 year's session. So such as like UITM, we have the ILD, Institute Latihan UITM. So this kind of the institute, they will provide with the takwim of the training to make sure this kind of the people can develop their skills. So every single of the training that related to the communication, that relate to the to be a leaders, you have to attend the training. Total number of training that compulsory to everyone to fulfill for the UITM is if I don't mistaken, we have to fulfill 40 hours for the 1 year. So there is a carrot and stick. If you fail to fulfill, so you will get the sums of or maybe sums of the warning or a warning from your management. Okay, so this is actually the context of the leadership. If you have your own followers, so what you have to do, sums of action, you have to take this kind of the five. Okay, action should be taken. Okay, I go it for next. Wait, eh, wait. Why they are not changed? So. Okay,
Okay, wait.
sorry.
It's okay.
So this is actually the leaders function. First is about the personal power. Okay, as a leaders, should have a personal power. There is a three main source of power. First, maybe you can apply the authority power. You can apply the economic power, and also maybe as a leaders, you can apply a integrative power. Okay, so what we mentioned on the authority power. So meaning that I believe every single of you as a public administration student know types of power, right? So here, what we mentioned on the authority power. So this is more power that we consider as a power of trade or power overs. Okay, so meaning that as the leaders, you have to make sure you can apply your powers in this organization. Okay, so what you have to do for those people who are unable to we consider follow your instructions. So many things that you can use your power of trade. I mean, a co-chief power to make sure this kind of the subordinate they can follow and implement all the vision, all the objective that has been set by you. Okay, so part of that second powers that maybe can implemented by you is as economic power, power of exchange. This is more to the persuasions, how you can nego either between you and your subordinate and also between you and your investor. Okay, okay, we have the integrative power, which is this is inclusive accepting or power with the energize others to action. So what we mentioned on the integrative power, this is more we consider as a leader's power, how they can instruct the staff, the subordinate to make sure this kind of the subordinate can implementing all their uh, visions, missions, and also all the strategy that has been set by your organization to make sure the objective of the organization is can be achievable. Okay, so another function of the leaders is about this we consider how the leaders they have to be a strong leader, don't have to shout from the top, meaning that they able to share their value for the whole members of the organization. They able to understood the whole organization structure and they make sure they can empower uh, their subordinate to achieve the organization's objective. Okay, and then as the leaders, they have to find the succession plan is very important. Meaning that you are not being a leader uh, from the first day until your retirement. So make sure the goal and the mission that has been set can be continuously achieved success. So it's very important as a leadership. Okay, it's not only you manage, you bring, and you organize the organization. However, you have to make sure the successor, train the successor that group them, and then the successor will able to achieve and retain the objective of organization as
Okay, bye.
has
Thank you.
been said earlier by your management. So this is actually the basic that is actually the basic ideas lah of the leadership and effectiveness of the leaders and function of leaders. And next we go to the rules of the women leadership. So this is I take from the journal. We can see there is some from the Australian economist study. See, there is a lot of the CEO named Andrew that the total number of women CEO. Okay, so most of the Australian top 200 significant corporation that women. So meaning that we can see either uh, internationals, women leadership is accepted. Okay, and is encouraging, making women to be a stand similar like a man. Okay, this is another survey. Okay, which is among the 500 Fortune 500 companies CEO, only 20% are women, and only 25% have a C-suite job in the top 1,000 companies. So the numbers is considered conservative. Okay, there is a substance of women leaders in US. Okay, so organization leader, a woman can bring a fresh perspective. Okay, because the woman in the leadership, okay, bring different new views. Okay, maybe this is a more successful situation. Okay, there are a lot of little example. For example, we can see like itself. Okay, now we having our NC product Rosia. Okay, Dr. Rosia. Our NC is a biggest. Uh, they bring with having a coffee talk with NC, and then we can see because our NC background is audit leaders previously for Inca. So all their uh, strategies, and then we can see uh, approaches is okay. All this kind of the approaches is most to the to enhance the quality, okay, and then to enhance the fair between men and women. Okay, you can see in their structures. Okay, most of the women, either our T-Rex HCA, PNC HCA is Datin Suzana, is also a woman. Okay, if you go to the strategic also is a woman. uh, and then even there is also a woman. Okay, so we can see this is actually the uh, yes, fresh perspective is because of we have to give opportunity for the woman. Okay, because one can able to bring a new view, for the organization's objective. Okay, and then apart we consider the impact if woman is lead more effective. Okay, why? Because Why? Because they are too particular. Woman is very particular in every single of the uh, task has been made by them. Okay, so we believe they are more effective. Okay, why? Because one by one, layer by layer, they will cross check everything. This is we consider is a woman leader because they're too particular. They're very worried in terms of the implications if there is a wrong decision made by them. Because to be a leader is more, is not only receiving our responsibility, is not only we call the responsibility itself, but we have to be accountable. Accountable meaning is that responsible in every single decision by our family. Okay, so that's why I considered woman is more effective. Okay, compared to actually explanation. Okay, when women are more become effective than men after the age of 40s. Why we are more effective to do so when they reach the age of the 60. Currently, you can see we are having a new government under Prime Ministers. Okay. Also, we have a number of we can see there is a some such as Dr. Zalifa Mustafa in our House Ministry, and our Hanayo as our Youth and Sport Ministries, and also have a Ali Osman is our Law and Industrial Reform. Who else? Educations Ministry. We have Finance is a new face, our Prime Minister's leaders member, and also we have a woman and family entity which is Nancy Shukri has been appointed as our full ministry for Malaysia's cabinet for 2022. So we have five, okay, out of the 27th of ministry. So we have five. Okay. A part of that, what actually the impact, we can see women are more empathic, okay, because maybe because of their sense of what we call motherly, okay, so they are more empathic, uh, and then they can accept the perceive the world differently without compromising in terms of judgment. Okay. And then woman a better communicator. Okay, this is actually based on the journal. So based on the study, not based on me. This is I take from the journal. So they to the employer better empathness. Okay, speak more assertive, can freely communicate, strong and more open for the feedback. So we consider the impact of the woman being a leader in our organization. A part of that, a woman able to handle the crisis better. Why? Because as a caregiver, okay, who handles domestic compensations and patient because of the motherly end. Okay, we have to handle to involve, we are multitasking. So that's why we more able to handle in organizations better. Because why? Maybe some of the women, most of the women, they prefer to come up with their checklist. They prefer to list all the priorities. Priority. They will do some of the checklist, list to do. Okay, so this is we can consider factors able to handle the crisis better than the male. Okay, and then woman leader can gender pay gap. Okay, so this is based on the United Nations. Okay, if you read up here, according to the data, okay, the gap pay between men and women is 16%, meaning women earn 84% of men what men do. Okay, so the gender gap, wage gap exists in the organization and workplace despite decade of the development. Organization have been looking for the means to close the gender pay gap for a long time, and offering women leadership in the organization is one possible answers lah. Okay, so we can see here. Okay, for example, like a few days, siapa yang if you follow the FB of our NC has been recognized to the next levels of JUSA. Okay, which is we believe there is differences in terms of the salary. Okay, from one stages, one grading to another grading two, we have a different number of salary. If I don't mistaken, for the public servant, the differences is around 1,800 from one grading to another grade. For example, 45 to 52, 52 to 54, uh, the gap is 1,500, if I don't mistaken. Okay. And then a woman make amazing mentor. So most of the women they're able to be a good mentor. Okay, mentorship, uh, such as like maybe because they prefer to advise others, right? They prefer to share the strategies. Okay, they prefer to uh, share every single of their achievement, the failure, for example. So they're able to be a good mentor. Okay, because if they fail, they're able to uh, we consider they can wake up more fast rather than male. Okay, so that's why we consider women make amazing as a mentor. Okay, because they are very strong and confident, and because indirectly, as a woman, we are very we are not fragile. Okay, we are not fragile. Okay, we tends to be okay from male because yes, I think this is due to the upper woman character itself. Okay, as a mother, uh, that facing a lot of the issues at the home, but they manage to what we call them. They manage to uh, handle the emotions. Okay, emotional intelligence. Okay, so that is a seven impact of the woman in the organization. Okay, so this is actually overall what actually leadership roles. Okay, so the first thing first, in terms of the how we can instill the readiness of changes for our working. So as a leader, you have to make sure that you're able to instill this kind of the readiness among your staff to make sure they are able to receive or perceive the changes in the organization. Why? Because we believe if they're able to instill the readiness, it easiest for the co-workers to face things in any kind of the key business of process. Okay, in the daily task. So instead of that, ensure their latent potentials, increase workplace diversity, because it is a challenge undertaking that will require the support and participants of everyone in the company. Okay, so that is for the woman roles leadership in the organization. Okay, moderator, it goes to you.
All right. Well, that's a bit detail from what you explained about the role of women, especially the leadership of women in the industrial relations. So, Doctor, actually, before we continue with the second slot, we should have a break for 15 minutes, but it depends with you. We give a choice. Maybe we can just continue with the second slot, or we can have drink some water for 15 minutes and come back with the second slot.
Okay.
In that case, everybody, we will have a break of 15 minutes and we will be back after the break of 15 minutes. And thank you very much for the first slot, Doctor. colleague. Thanks for welcoming back. We are afraid we interrupting your breakfast just now
Yes.
because we are
Yeah,
actually
no,
breakfast.
no. Okay, no
Okay.
problem.
I introduced myself. My name is Ashraf. I was the one that contacted you.
Ah, hi.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
Uh, so how you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
No.
Glad to hear it.
But here is raining, so I worry my line is disconnected.
It's
Heavy
okay.
raining, ya. Dah kan banyak hujan.
Hmm.
So can we start now?
One moment.
Sure.
Uh,
All right. So for the first slot, we have actually discussed about the role of women, and our guest right here, Dr. Jada, has explained it very detailed, especially from the leadership and also the characteristic. So we are actually moving on to the next slot or the second slot, or also the slot where it's a discussion about the role of technology in the industrial relations. So right now, in this modern era, the technologies are actually playing an important role, and this is why we want to discuss and hear what actually the role of technology for today's modern era of industrial relations. So I give the floor for our special guest for today, Doctor.
Doctor?
okay, thank you so much.
All right, Doctor.
Wait, let me set first my.
Sure.
It's gonna go with only. Okay, can you see my slide?
My apologies. I'm afraid we didn't see your slide for now.
Yes. No, yeah, doctor.
Not yet. Okay.
All right, all right, Doctor.
Thank you so much, moderator, and also the is okay. What actually the roles of technology as a platform for the voice of employees. Okay, so we can see uh, wait, I make it more bigger. Okay, so what you mentioned on what we consider here is the technology of our life, of having the living of especially. So we consider there is always a constant need for the people to generate while we mentioned on we consider to avoid any kind. So that's why from my first slide I have mentioned on women, should having your own objective, your own vision, because this is we consider one of the platform of the communication, the leaders to the co-workers. So to make sure they understand the transitions, sharing the info properly from the top to the bottom. Okay, so that's why or mentions on the communications, or maybe uh, the impact of what we call the technology itself in this kind of the organization we need such of the tools. Okay, so here the technologies also we consider is a part of the communications tools, which is maybe using the several number of the technology. Currently we have a lot of the technologies, okay, that we can implement it to voice up our grievance, especially as a co-workers, okay, such as like macam your ITM Kedah. Also we have e-respond, we have Google form, feedback form, we have a MP, aduan maklum balas pelanggan. If you look up to the whole nations of because that is a part, okay, that we can voice up our what we call our grievance. So as an employees in the organization, I considered the platform that we can use. Either there is a lot of the platform. There are things about the trade union, your own union in the organization itself. So to make sure your voice can be heard by your organization. Okay, if that organization were concerns on your consideration, because you are stand individually, but it's not as a is one team member. Similar like as students, you have your own capabilities, because I believe this is a democratic country. Even though in our federal constitutions is stated that there is we consider kebebasan hak asasi. Am I right? That I think every single of the student, you know that kind of the uh, section in federal constitution, kebebasan bersuara, for example. So that is has been stated. But in what kind of the channel, in what kind of the method, it should be proper method. Even though UITM itself, they have their own Twitter, confessions punya platform, kan, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but let's make it proper common way. Okay, so rapidly, I think currently most of the students, such as like generation Z, you are more exposed to any kind of getting to use to show your us in UITM itself, as a co-workers, we having a trade union. I consider our union itself, TM will have a mitasa, so that for us to voice up our concern, our our needs, maybe our demand. So through our mitasa, so mitasa will bring up to the top management, and we hope the management will consider this is actually the concerns given by the staff, and they will transform the demand and also the grievance that will reflect the demand and also the grievance by staff itself. Okay, the use of the technology in the workplace. Okay, organization have been able to increase their productivity and efficiency at the rapid pace. Okay, which is a process that will more once manually and time consuming can now be achieved in a quick and efficient manner with a digital tools, application and system. Okay, so we believe this kind of the technology able to be a good platform to voice out of the employees needs and demand. Okay, next. Yeah, sorry, stop, wait. You. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay, so this is actually I took from the journal. the idea why we have to use the digital technologies in our organization somehow. Okay, uh, we consider that the first thing first is about why, the reason why we need for the the use of the technologies itself. So for example, let's say like your ITM, we have the like your item Kedah, also we have the system e-respond. So why we have to come up with this kind of the system e-respond? The consider of why, because this is we consider as a two-way communication to make sure there is an engagement between you and your management. Okay, so the platform has been plugged in our website. So if there is any complaint given by either staff, either students, so you just click in your ID and submitted your consent. Okay, so this is we consider is the reason why is about the connected to make sure, because we cannot reach our management during the weekend. Some they are not prefer to be contacted during the weekend. Okay, so this is actually the reason we put in the system e-respond in our website, so it can be managed by our moderator, so they can check, so all the information can be collected, and then it can be convey this kind of information into the action. Okay, and then second part here is about the where, meaning that as a management you have to decide if you have the system e-response tadi, so where is to plug in. So it seems like your item Kedah, we have safety, user friendly, because it's required you to using your own ID to access to that particular website, and then you can just key in all the data, uh, maybe your concerns on that particular matters that you think is very needs urgent to make sure the government the organization can take an action. Okay, so the platform has been plugged in at our website, your item Kedah. And then here the third part is about the access to the contacts. So this is we consider as a what. Okay, so meaning that in terms of the levels of risk, so we can consider as such as like your ITM, while they're introducing the e-respond system. This system is only can be reached by the student at UiTM Kedah, staff at UiTM Kedah, and also the moderator. We has been appointed one of the moderator to make sure level of risk, meaning that this kind of the complaint is a PNC, is only by our management and the staff of that system. They cannot be accessible by the rest of the people, because we would like to put in some sort of the PNC for those who are being reporting something. Some report is quite sensitive, and then we have to discuss in the forward room only. Not everybody can be accessible. So this is actually we consider the access of the contact itself. Okay, and then the design approaches. Okay, so this is we consider in terms of the accessibility also. Okay, so while we're using the website, so it will be permanently there, and then can be accessible by our moderator, and this kind of the website has been promoted by our corporate management. Okay, so part of that during the process of delivering here, we consider all this kind of the information has been given under why system can be delivered in terms of changes of our management, maybe change of the rules of thumb, change of the we consider the policy if needed. Okay, because action should be taken if the peoples are complaining, so meaning that action should be taken, similar like what you mentioned on the uh, public. We look up to the government as a whole. Government as a whole, if you refer to the David Aston's theory, okay, we have an input, political system, and output. So that is actually we consider one of the use from the perspective of society. So in society, they will use the input channel for them as a platform to disseminate. their needs, their concerns that related to their territory area towards to the government. But who is actually the the platform that we can reach is goes to the MPs, members of parliament, so members of the parliament, our concern. So they will bring up to the upstairs to the political system, and will discuss into the political system at end of the day. So we believe there is a some output that we consider as a policy, or maybe that is a rules and regulation can be uh, as an output of the discussions, deliberations has been made during the process of political institution. So examples like macam Kedah, we're having a problem on the water, treated water. I believe for those yang from Kedah, you know what actually what happened in Kedah itself. Okay, we're having our own water resources, water catchment. However, this kind of the water catchment and water resources is not enough for the usage of the residents in Kedah. So what happened is there is area in Kedah such as like Merbuk, they have to be what we call, dia kena catu air tu. You faham tak? Meaning that whether it being a catuan air, what happened is uh, people keep complaining to the local government, to the state government, why we don't have a water such as like currently is musim monsoon kan, Tengkuju, right? Musim hujan. Supposed to be we have a lot of water because there's raining, right? But however, we have a limitations of water. Because for the Kedah itself, for your information, we have to supply water to the Penang. Usage of the consider quite a little bit difficult, and they're having a problem treated water. So what happened is this issue has been sent to our MP of previous MP, our previous MP previously, YB Norin Aina. So she's a very committed bringing this issue to the uh, levels of the governments, and has been discussed in our House of Representatives at the end in 2011 with Dasar DS, Dasar Sumber Air Negara, which is in that kind of the policy, they are stating, they are discussing so on the issue that relate to the sustainability of water, treated water. Okay, so this is analogy, analogy that I would like to share to the students that relate to the uh, society and governance. Okay, so similar, if you mention on the employees in the organization, we have our own kind of the platform is differ from one organization to another organization, such as your item Kedah, we're having system e-response that I mentioned to you. So we're using that platform to submit our concern, to submit our grievance, to say something to our organization. And then if you look up to the process of workflow of process to the management should fix within the sums of the penalty during the audit done in our management. So it will capture that our management is not effective. So either you like or dislike. If there is any kind of the grievance submitted through the e-response, you have to bring your consent within days, not less than 3 days. If you go to the day 4, we consider that is we consider you are not effective. Our management is not effective. So our management is they are really worried. They try to retain the happiness index among the staff. Okay, so what they have to do is they still they try to meet this kind of the uh, timeline given by corporate, such as 3 days of feedback. Okay, okay. Next, okay, so this is actually method of communications via the technologies. So what we have to do, this is from the Wilkinson, okay, the framework that adapted. So the mention is, you have to ask this kind of the 5 questions. why you come up with the communication via technologies. Okay, first kind of the degree a workers able to raise their concern and influence decisions about various aspects of the management. So what actually levels of the degree of the workers itself. Okay, which is for example, if we look up to like such as UITM itself, okay, we can divide it our workers into several two types. We have academic, we have administrative. Okay, so this kind of the levels, we have team member. Among the staff, actually we have our own union. Okay, like macam Kedah, we have a Mitasat, club staff UiTM Kedah, we have a Pewani. So this is actually of the use, okay, to share our concern related to the policy that made by our organization, whether we like or we are dislike with this kind of the uh, policy. Okay, before we go to the reals. Faham tak? Kita tak mau terus tiba-tiba semua orang angkat bendera. No. We try to avoid that one. So we have to make sure that